One of the hardest things you'll ever have to do as an entrepreneur is admit to yourself that somebody else could do it better and it's time to step down from your company. And today, I'm going to tell you why I made that decision. So 10 years ago, I started Pete and Pedro. Like I've talked about before, it started in a spare bedroom. I basically started the company with $3,000. If you missed that video where I talked about why, I'm gonna link to it down below. So the way that Pete and Pedro started was basically me just marketing it on the Alpha YouTube channel, right? And because I had a big audience, I was making sales. I never ever had a strategy. I never had an idea of how to grow it. It was just like, hey, this is a product that was kind of like my merch that I was selling and people were digging. And so over the next few years, it steadily grew. It basically grew like 100% year over year over year. Year number one, I did $30,000. Year number two, it was like $60,000. It was growing steadily. And truthfully, it had nothing to do with my strategy. It had nothing to do with my marketing smarts. It had everything to do with my social media following. My marketing strategy basically boiled down to me doing a video a few times a month talking about a product and giving a discount code. And then over the years, you know, people would try it, they'd use it, we'd come out with a few new products, but it really wasn't ever thought through. And I really didn't treat it as a real business. I didn't have any paid advertising. It was basically me talking about a product, and I was the only thing that was really moving the needle. For you guys that haven't met him, this is Dougie. Dougie is our office dog and the greatest thing. Nobody loves me as much as Dougie. Anyway, so the deal is, it slobbered, sorry. Operationally, when we started, it was super simple. It was run out of a spare bedroom in my house. It was me and my wife filling orders, but then it started to grow and I realized I needed a little bit of help. My time would be better utilized filming videos and creating the marketing collateral or the videos that would be used to actually sell the products. And so I found my office. I had my friend Matt come in during the day, fill orders, and then we needed another helper. And so basically there was this guy at the gym that I knew. He was a fan of my YouTube channel named Met. And he came in and basically started work, and I didn't really have a lot for them to do, but in the early days, it was just us. It was my assistant, Matt, and Met, all right? 3 people basically operated Pete and Pedro up to around $2 million. And then at that point, I'm like, okay, I need to move out of my office because all the pallets were stacking up in my nice, pretty office, and it was just getting too busy. And so I got a warehouse, and we moved here. And so we moved into like a 3,000 square foot little warehouse. And at the time, it was just pallets stacked on the floor. Nothing sexy, but it was a space. And I remember signing the lease and I got really emotional because, you know, I never envisioned or dreamed that this company would grow to the point of needing like a space or a warehouse. It was emotional and it was awesome, but it was still just me promoting things, right? And what I came to realize is that I'm not a great leader. And this is a tough pill to swallow. Then one day I get a call from a guy that I've known for a long time. His name is Mike Levy. He worked for a company called The Grooming Lounge. The Grooming Lounge was one of my first sponsors. And they basically, in my opinion, pioneered this online like grooming, you know, world where you could go on and buy a bunch of different products. And at the time, Grooming Lounge was like awesome. Well, Mike is somebody that I got to know. He's the one that I ran the promotions through. And he and I just over the years just kept in touch, even when I wasn't doing promotions for The Grooming Lounge anymore. And we became very friendly. And Mike one day gave me a call right out of the blue. He's like, hey, Aaron, I think Pete and Pedro could be something, and I'd like to talk to you about how I could possibly help you grow it. And I'm like, I don't know, right? Because I am a control freak. Even though I wasn't doing what I needed to do in order to grow it, even though I needed help, I was very reluctant. But I was like, all right, come down to Atlanta, let's talk about it. And so Mike flies down, we have a meeting, we talk about it, he had a great plan, and I said, no. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. I'm not ready. No. Because here's the other reality is that the thought of that was like, wait a second, I'm gonna have another employee, it's gonna be expensive, I'm just not ready for that. I was more comfortable doing a flash sale every Friday, going on my Instagram being like, yo guys, if you wanna check out the Putty, I'm doing 25% off, because literally that was like what my marketing was. And so I kind of forgot about it. Mike goes back to Washington, D.C. where he lived. And a few months later, I started thinking. Mike and I kept in touch, and I realized that if I really want to grow this company and make Pete and Pedro something, I needed to get out of the way because I was the thing that was holding it back the most. And so Mike, he came back down, we had another meeting, and I basically decided, all right, let's do this. It's time for me to toss the keys to somebody that's got a vision, somebody that's got the experience, and somebody that's gonna help this baby grow. At the time that Mike ended up joining the Pete and Pedro family, I was doing $2.8 million a year, about $230,000 a month, because when he came in, we were trying to figure out like his compensation structure and then like bonuses based on performance. And so when we came in, or he came in, I said, all right now, currently I'm doing like $230,000 a month. That's my baseline. Like I've grown it to here. And so you don't get commission or credit for anything like under that, right? But anything over that we do, then you basically are going to get a commission, and we set different like benchmarks and thresholds of if we hit 300,000 or 400 or 500, like they're different like tiers. But he also got a salary, but it was a big salary. It was the biggest salary that I'd ever paid anybody. But was it worth it? Yes, because he was now bringing new life, new vision, new ideas to the table. Now, one of the things that people say, well, did it take work off your plate? No. The crazy thing is because I wasn't doing 99% of the things that businesses need to do in terms of the online business space in order to grow a business. I wasn't doing any of it. All I was doing was marketing through my YouTube channel. I wasn't doing SEO. I wasn't doing paid advertising. I wasn't paying attention to new product development and email lists and email like I didn't care about any of that. But when Mike came in, he basically had a plan. He laid it out. He's like, these are the things that we need to do. These are my priorities. And one of the things was he was going to be working from home. Mike was going to continue to work remotely. There was no real reason for him to have to move down, to Atlanta to basically, run the marketing component and help Pete and Pedro. And so he ended up moving to Los Angeles during the time, and, kind of living his best life. And that's one of the cool things. And so I guess the real thing I want to kind of hammer home with this video, I'm going to talk more about Mike and kind of what he did and how he did what he did, because this year, literally, we're going to do over $8 million. And that was just 4 years ago that Mike actually joined the team. And so as you can see, we've grown, but it's been a grind. One of the things and reasons why you want to hire people is because they can take things that you don't like to do, you're not good at, or just things that occupy your time as the business owner off your plate, so you can focus on the things that you're good at or you like to do. With Mike, he came in and everybody's like, oh, did he take things off your plate? No, because like I said, I wasn't doing any of them. He was adding things, lots of things to my plate. I was having calls, I was having meetings, I was having to think, I was having to spend more money because we needed different plugins and different strategy, and we needed an advertising budget. All of these things that I didn't ever think about before because I'm a dummy and I was so one-dimensional on grow my YouTube channel, promote it on YouTube, and just grow this little side hustle, right? Now all of a sudden I had all these things to do because I finally had somebody that had direction and goals and an idea of what we needed to do and a systematic plan in order to do it. And to this day, 4 years later, we are still changing, we are still adjusting, we are still modifying the strategy. Every day there's new things. Over the years, the team has grown. We're still a very small team in relation to the amount of millions that we're actually doing. All right, right now, currently, we've got Mike, we've got Dave, who is basically like a creative guy that helps us with digital and influencers and a lot of the marketing, not to mention Amazon. We've got Debbie, my assistant forever. She's still with the team. All right, Mike, my stepfather, customer service. My mom used to do customer service for Enemy Clothes, so she now is with Pete and Pedro. And then in the warehouse, we've got Matt, we've got Zavi, we've got Kelsey, the newest hire, and then we also have Paul, who is overseas, that used to work for Enemy, that basically is just a smart guy that gets shit done and helps us with video and content and doing some of the things that none of us like to do. And so that's it. That's our team. It's a small, intricate, intimate group that is doing incredible things. But it started, honestly, in my opinion, with me getting out of my own way and tossing somebody the keys that had a plan, had a vision. Mike is more to Pete and Pedro than just a marketing director. He honestly is who I trust. He is who I lean on for direction, ideas. A lot of the things that I talk about on this channel, and I'm like, oh, you need to do this, and this is a good idea. It's not because I learned them like from doing research or testing or trial. It's because Mike has taught me the things that I needed to do. And that's the real takeaway from this. When you surround yourself with somebody that is better suited for a specific job, it's amazing what can happen, but it first takes you being honest, and that's one of the hardest things that you're ever gonna have to do as an entrepreneur, is look yourself in the mirror and be like, you know what? I'm not good at this. I may not be the best person to drive or direct the ship. And if I toss the keys to somebody that is, it's amazing how much further you can get and how your company can actually evolve and you as a business can get better. But it starts with you being honest. And I'm not saying like I'm a dumbass or anything like that, but I definitely know that when it comes to marketing, when it comes to all of the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty, Mike is amazing. It all honestly has worked out, and it's exciting to see us grow together. And you know, he's doing really well. He's killing it in terms of financially, because we've got a good pay structure. He gets a base, and then he gets commission on, you know, different tiers and levels of growth. And you know, he's happy, I'm happy, and we are happy and healthy at Pete and Pedro. But he also understands that it's not just about top line growth. He understands that if he's gonna make a lot of money, I need to make a lot of money. And those are some of the hard conversations that he and I have had, because we could be a bigger company if I was willing to invest more in advertising. But with that comes lower margin, and so it's kind of a balancing act, but I trust him. And that ultimately is what you need to have with somebody that you're allowing to help with your baby. I trust Mike. And the way that he's earned that trust is through execution, basically walking the walk. You know, a lot of people, when they come in, right, they'll be like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I'm gonna help you do whatever, but then they don't do it. And you're like, wait a second, I paid you how much to do what? And I'm no further ahead? Gentlemen, you've gotta pay attention to the numbers. With Mike, it was easy because it was slow, but it was methodical, there was a plan, and it has worked. And so, every time something works and I see the numbers and he puts all the reports and everything together for me so that I can see it black and white, and then I call him and have him explain what I'm actually looking at sometimes, because I'm being honest, it's amazing, right? And it's through this trust, it's through this relationship that it has allowed Pete and Pedro to grow and flourish. And basically, I'm excited. I'm excited for where we're headed. And I truly feel like we, in a few years, will be, you know, a 15, possibly $20 million business. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of money. It's going to take a lot of inventory. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about it today, because honestly, me admitting to myself that I wasn't good at running this business from a high level perspective was one of the hardest decisions that I had to make. But because I made it and swallowed my pride, it has allowed our business to grow. Gentlemen, you gotta be true to yourself, you gotta be honest. When it's time to toss somebody the keys that can do it better, do it.